Very good morning, students. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. In last session, we have discussed about the packet header format of IPv4 or IPv6. Anyone? We have studied which header format?
IPv6.
Yes, we have studied IPv6 header format. Uh, the fields which are present, which are available in that. Okay, so today we will be discussing about the quality of service primitives in network layer to provide or to control the flow. Then we will be discussing about the traffic shaping to control the flow. Again, these are the algorithms. Under this also we have two type of the algorithms available. Then one concept which is called as the network address translation NAT, and if the time permits, then we will be continuing with the ARP address resolution protocol and the RARP reverse address resolution protocol. Okay, so starting with the quality of service primitives or the parameters. Okay, now, yesterday we have discussed how congestion can occur, what is meant by congestion, and which are the mechanisms by which we can control, we can prevent the congestion, isn't it? There are two type of the congestion available. Congestion is what? Simply when you are transmitting any packets to any network or through any medium, then in that, if number of packets are traveling together, or if there is we can say if we are not maintaining a speed, not maintaining a flow of that data, then there will be congestion which can occur in that transmission media. Okay, so if we do not want that congestion, because why we don't want, because it will lost its data packets, whatever it is taking care of, you know. So if it will lose, then we will be losing the reliability, so we don't want that. So what we are doing, we are consuming, or we will be having two type of the mechanisms in that. One is the open loop congestion, another is the closed loop congestion. In open loop, we are preventing, right, we are preventing the congestion. We are, before transmitting the packets, we are adopting some mechanisms so that congestion should not happen. But what if even by adapting some mechanisms also, what if the congestion will occur? Then if congestion is detected during the transmission, then how we will be handling that? So this is after occurring congestion. After occurring congestion, which mechanisms we will be applying? That is present under the closed loop congestion control. So these we have yesterday discussed already, right? Now to obtain a flow control, now what is this? Simply whatever we are talking about this congestion, this is happening because we are not maintaining, or we need to maintain the flow control, right? Whatever the data is flowing through this medium, we need to control the flow. Now, whenever we are deciding any mechanisms, whenever we are dealing with any algorithms to control that flow, we need to make sure of some parameters. And these are the parameters which we need to consider. These are the four characteristics. One is reliability, another is delay parameter, third is the jitter parameter, and fourth is the bandwidth parameter. Okay. Now, the first one, that is reliability. See, whenever we are adopting any mechanism or the algorithm, the data flow must have some level of the reliability. What if we will not maintain the reliability? The lack of reliability means a packet or the acknowledgement, whatever the packet we are sending or whatever acknowledgement we will be transmitting through the transmission media, that will be lost, and that should be retransmitted again, isn't it? If we will not maintain the reliability, then what will happen? At receiver side, it will check for the checksum, it will check for the CRC bits. If it is not expected data, if will identify the data has been lost during the transmission, then what will happen? Simply receiver will drop that packet, and then sender, according to the timer, will be retransmitting that packet. The same case is happening with respect to the acknowledgement also. If the acknowledgement is retransmitted one by more than one time, so again we will be increasing the congestion, right? So depend upon we can say the application program which we will be using. It has some different requirement, right? So they have those applications require, or they require different type of the reliability demand, isn't it? For example, if we talk about regarding the email, file transfer and the internet access, they have we can say they need the more reliability than your telephone or the audio conferencing, right? If one of the beat, if it will be missed whenever I'm talking, अगर एक beat मेरा एक word आपको सुनाई भी नहीं दिया, but the rest of the words from the statement you will be getting, then you will be able to find out the statement, you will be identifying my statement, right? But what if the file will be missing? This is not considerable, this is not, we can say, uh, this is not a good service if we will be missing that any one of the beat through that email or in that file transfer mechanism. Okay, so depend upon the demand of the application or the requirement of the application, which type of the service they will be using, the reliability needs to be maintained. Okay, the second parameter here we have the delay parameter. Now, source to destination delay is, we can say, another important flow control characteristics. Okay, again, if we will talk about the delay or the delay tolerance of different applications, हर एक का डिमांड डिले को कंज्यूम करने का या फिर डिले को ऑपरेट करने का, दैट विल बी डिफरेंट एप्लीकेशंस फॉर डिफरेंट टॉलरेंस, इजंट इट? अगर सेम केस हम सेम एग्जांपल यहाँ पे ले, तो telephony and audio conferencing or the video conferencing, or take one more example, that is remote login, they need minimum delay, right? लैगिंग ज्यादा करने लगा when you most of the time, अभी तो ठीक है, फिर भी lot of improvement has been done while we are doing the WhatsApp call or the video calling, right? But if you can observe, whatever the direct connection जो हम ऑडियो कॉल करते हैं, there is a point to point network between them जब हम ऑडियो कॉल करते हैं, right? But when we talk about the WhatsApp calling or when we call about the video calling, that time it may possible number of beats will be lost, because वहां पे हम लोग UDP पैकेट यूज करते हैं जो कनेक्शन लेस होते हैं, जो एक ही रूट यूज करके डेस्टिनेशन तक नहीं पहुंचते, वो किसी भी तरीके से भेजे जाते हैं. सो इट मे पॉसिबल कि पहला वाला पैकेट यहाँ चला जाए, सेकेंड वाला ये इधर ही अटक जाए, फिर तीसरा वाला पहले पहुंच जाए. सो बिकॉज ऑफ दैट द डिले विल बी देयर. सो there should be minimum delay we can accept in such type of the applications, right? While to transfer, or we can say file transfer or in the email, they are the delay tolerant applications, right? The next parameter which we have is the jitter. Now jitter का मतलब ये होता है that variation in the delay which we are talking, right? So what is the variation available in the packets which we are or we can say which are belonging to the same flow control, or which belonging to the same transmission media, but every packet is receiving at the different time. Okay, so delay variation is called as the jitter. Okay, so real time audio on the video cannot tolerate a large amount of the jitter. और if we will talk about दूसरा साइड जो हमने दूसरे एग्जांपल्स देखे, it does not matter if the packet carrying information in the file have different delays, because the transport layer, ये हम network layer की बात कर रहे हैं, right? So the transport layer at the destination, it will wait until it all the packets will arrive to this layer, and it will gather together, and then it will be transmitted to the application layer, right? So what we are saying is, whenever we are talking about the delay variation matlab jitter. Okay, delay variation for the packets belonging to the same flow, okay, that is called as jitter. Now what is happening in email SMTP ये जो protocols है which are working behind the email services or the file transfer FTP protocol, वहां पे क्या होता है, they suppose this is a sender जिसने ये data already send किया है, now this is a receiver, now receiver side में ये different layers है, physical layer, data link layer, network layer, right? So whenever these packets are received by the receiver's layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, that time it will be collecting this in a bit format or the in a packet format. So those are not forwarded as it is in case of SMTP, मतलब email services जो होती है, SMTP email services या फिर FTP, ये जो services होती है, they used to take all the packets, they used to gather all the packets, okay, they arrange it in the sequence, and then at last when it forms all together the data packets, then it will forward it to the application layer, okay. तो उस केस में ऐसा नहीं होता कि they used to recollect all the data and then only they forward, ऐसा नहीं होता कि okay इसका 1 byte, मान लो 10 MB का मेरा फाइल है, तो उसमें से मेरा 2 MB मुझे आ चुका है, 2 MB आई विल बी फॉरवर्डिंग, then later on my second 2 MBs will be forwarding. So email आपको टुकड़े टुकड़ों में तो नहीं मिलता, right? So this all will be gathered together and that will be received by the receiver's application layer. That is jitter. So these we can say the parameter is also considered while we are controlling the flow. This mechanism, or we should take care about this point. Then the last we have the bandwidth. Again, the different applications need different bandwidth. If we talk about the video conferencing, then it needs a huge bandwidth, right? And if we talk about the email, they may not need a large bandwidth. That depends upon how much packets वहां पे ट्रैवल हो रहे हैं. टू सेंड अ सिंगल पैकेट ऑल्सो a thousand number of packets we will be transmitting in between the sender and the receiver, right? So depend upon the requirement, depend upon the applications, the bandwidth may vary, but these are the 4 variables or the parameters which will be deciding the quality of the services which will be providing with respect to the data flow which is happening in between the sender and the receiver. Fine. Now to maintain this, or for achieving this, we can say quality of service parameters, we have different technologies available, okay? Technologies like buffering mechanism, how we will be maintaining the buffer size at sender receiver side. Then we have buffering. The second we have is the traffic shaping. Okay, traffic shaping also have 2 different algorithms that we will be discussing. Then the third we have like resource reservation. The fourth, admission control. These points we have, the concept we have already learned, right? Admission control. A lot of different techniques are there, but from this in our syllabus we will be discussing about, we have already discussed this resource reservation, admission control, all these mechanisms, right? Now we will be discussing about the traffic shaping technique, okay? To achieve this quality of service parameters, we will be discussing, or we will be using the traffic shaping mechanism. Now what is this traffic shaping? It is like, we can say, one of the important aspect or the reason behind the congestion is the bursty nature of the traffic. Can we say that कि कुछ पैकेट्स जैसे स्लो हो जा रहे हैं, 3 पैकेट्स आए within a minute, okay, and sometimes it is like 10-12 पैकेट्स अचानक से भेजे जा रहे हैं. So this is the bursty traffic nature जो भी इसका ट्रांसमिशन हो रहा है, right? So if the data rate is uniform, suppose if the data traffic has a uniform data rate, then the congestion problem will not be, we can say, will not occur, or it will not be common, right? If we have a regular data transmission, yes or no? So this method belongs to open loop congestion control. Open loop congestion control. Open loop क्या है? This is a preventive method. Before happening congestion, we will be applying this. Okay. Now, under this traffic shaping, we have 2 algorithms. The one which is called as leaky bucket algorithm. leaky bucket algorithm, and the another one is token bucket algorithm. These are the two algorithms which are available under this traffic shaping. Traffic shaping is what? We can simply define this mechanism to control the amount and the rate of the traffic sent to the network. I will write down this here. Traffic shaping, example, this type of we can say concepts will be asked in your Viva's question. Okay, traffic shaping is a mechanism to control. बेटा आप अंदर जाओ नीरज. Is a mechanism to control the amount and the rate of the traffic traffic sent to the network. Okay, and these are the two methods or the algorithms available: leaky bucket algorithm and the token bucket algorithm. Now, what is this leaky bucket algorithm? This is exactly same the concept which we have in the real life of leaky bucket. We have a bucket here which has a hole at downside. Okay, इसके bottom में क्या है? एक hole है. And if we will be filling this bucket, okay, किसी भी rate में, किसी भी speed में, if we are filling this bucket with the water, what is happening? Random speed में या random amount of water will be coming inside of this bucket. But while it is going outside, okay, while it is going outside, this will be coming in the form of drops only. जिसका is the size which this bucket have at the bottom, उतने ही size से the water drops will be sent out, right? So this is the case where we will be taking or we will be having the incoming packets at any size with any speed. Will be taking that, okay, inside of this bucket, but we are transmitting those packets with a regular form or the with the regular rate. एक ही fixed rate है, constant rate है, right? And what if this bucket will be full? मान लो कि किसी भी बस ट्रैफिक के if even if it is belonging to the bursty traffic, then also it will be collecting those packets inside of this bucket and then it will be transmitting with the constant rate only. But what if the bucket will be full? सब फुल हो गया पूरे पैकेट से और in this example the water is fulfilled, then the extra water or the extra packets will be dropped out from this bucket, then there will be a loss of our data. अगर यहाँ पे extra हो गया, if the bucket is full, then the packets will be dropped out. Okay, the same concept is in our networking. पानी यहाँ से जा रहा है, इसका मतलब हमारे पैकेट्स भी जाएंगे. That packets may contain our original data which is we are considering from or we are having from the transport layer. जो actual data है, payload है, वो वहाँ पे loss हो सकता है. This is the limitation of leaky bucket algorithm, that if the water bucket is full or if the buffer is full, then the packets will be dropped out. Okay, this is the flow diagram. Host computer we have, if it is have the unregulated flow of the packets, even if we have unregulated flow, then also we will be considering or we will be transmitting into the buffer. This buffer will be holding the packets, okay, and with the regular rate, regulated flow, the packets will be transmitted over the network. नेटवर्क में वो एक ही स्पीड से एक ही कांस्टेंट रेट पे सेंड किए जाएंगे. Fine. And if the buffer is full, then the packets will be dropped out. Okay, this is the concept of leaky bucket algorithm. अब token bucket देख लो. What is token bucket? Token है इसमें. We will be using the tokens. Why we are using that? Let us discuss. Now here, what is happening here? Also, we have a bucket concept, but in previous algorithm, what we are doing in that bucket, we are transmitting all data packets, है ना? जो डेटा पैकेट्स एक्चुअल में आ रहे थे फ्रॉम द ट्रांसपोर्ट लेयर, that we are directly transmitting into that bucket, and if the bucket is full, that packets we are dropping out. That was the concept in leaky bucket. But in token bucket, what we are doing, we are storing or we are handling packets with respect to the tokens. So here also we have one bucket, but now in this bucket we are holding the tokens. Here we are holding the tokens. If the packet which is coming from the transport layer, if the packet which is coming from the transport layer, if that packet uh, is successful to grab this token, if that packet is successful to grab this token, then only that packet will be transmitted over the network. ओके मैं फिर से बताती हूँ कि हमारे पास ये कंप्यूटर है जिसके पास ट्रांसपोर्ट, हमारे पास ये लेयर्स हैं यहाँ पे, इसमें क्या हुआ है, ट्रांसपोर्ट लेयर से नेटवर्क लेयर में कुछ पैकेट्स आ चुके हैं, राइट, एंड वी हैव अ बकेट टोकन बकेट सिस्टम हियर, बट दैट पैकेट विल बी ट्रांसमिटेड ओवर द नेटवर्क जब when that packet will grab this token, and these tokens will be added within at every time period. हर एक टाइम पीरियड में इस बकेट में टोकन्स ऐड होते रहेंगे, ठीक है। उस पैकेट को if that packet is managing to grab this token, अगर इसको टोकन मिल गया, then only this packet will be transmitted over the network. If there are no packets, no tokens available in these buckets, then this packet is not allowed to jump into the or to transmit it to the network. Okay, this is the concept of token bucket. So what if अभी यहाँ पे अगर कम पड़ रहे हैं तो उस केस में ये हो रहा है कि पैकेट को अलाउड नहीं है ट्रांसमिशन होना नेटवर्क में, बट व्हाट इफ द टोकन्स आर फुल, मान लो कि बफर फुल हो गया है, टोकन्स we have a lot of tokens available, bucket is full of tokens, then in that case the tokens will be dropped out. क्या होगा वहां पे, tokens will be dropped out. We are not dropping out the actual packets, okay, we are only dropping out the tokens. तो यहाँ पे हमारा data loss नहीं हो रहा है, and that is the advantage over, or the we are overcoming this limitation which is happening in the leaky bucket algorithm, that is in token bucket algorithm. So in this way we are maintaining the flow of the data transmission by using this two type of algorithms under the traffic shaping, leaky bucket and the token bucket algorithm. Fine. This is the flow chart, simply algorithm is explained. Give me a minute, students. नंदिनी निराज, डोर क्लोज कर लो बच्चे, आवाज बहुत आ रही है बाहर। Okay, our next point is the network address translation. Leaky traffic shaping, anyone have doubt? Is it clear? We are controlling the flow of the transmission of the data. We are controlling that to maintain the congestion, to avoid the congestion. Is it clear, leaky bucket and the token bucket? Yes, any doubt? Anyone unmute yourself and please let me know any doubt. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the next point here we have is the network address translation, NAT. Okay. So we have learned one concept when we were talking about IPv4 addressing, classful, classless addressing. ये जब हम पढ़ रहे थे, that time I have mentioned few keywords like private IP address and public IP address. इस तरीके का कुछ मैंने बताया था, right? If you remember. Then what is this? These keywords now are very important in this concept, network address translation. Now, when we are using, this is the very important part, ki when we will be using this NAT, when we require this, we know that in IPv4, it is a 32 bit, and in this we can form 2 raised to 32 bit of IP addresses, which are very less as per the requirement of the users. These 2 raised to 32 IP addresses are very less. So what was the solution that time? Nowadays we have IPv6, right? We are having IPv6, but still, so IPv6 is of 128 bit, right? So we have 1 raised to 1, 2 raised to 128 of IP addresses available with us. We will be having, right? So every device which we are having now, that can be mapped, or every device, जितने भी devices आ जाए, we can assign IP addresses to those devices by using IPv6. IPv6 address we can assign, right? But before IPv6, IPv4 was there, and still we are using this IPv4, right? And here we have a limited IPv4 addresses. So what was the case कि जितने IP addresses है उसमें से कुछ already allocate हो चुके हैं, कुछ बाकी है, तो फिर अब बचे हुए इन organizations को, companies को, how we will be distributing those IP addresses? That was the question that time. So there was a solution with network address translation. So what we were doing by using this, we are assigning private IP addresses to the organizations, and we are assigning only one or few public IP addresses. And how we will be using that? Whenever that organization's any machine wants to communicate, wants to connect to the network, that time that request will be transmitted outside of the network by using the public IP address. Okay, and inside of this organization, they will be using a private IP address. Okay, and those private IP addresses, these will be allocated inside of this organization in this range. ये जो range है यहाँ पे लिखी हुई 10.0.0.0 to 10.255.255.255/8. This is the CIDR notification, right? So this is the first range which is used inside of the network as a private IP addresses. The second range is 172.16.0.0 to 173.31.255.255. This is the range which is allocated from the B class /12. Okay. The third range is allocated 192.168.0.0, say that is 192.168.255.255/16. Okay. Now, and this is the reason why in our organization, आप कभी भी अपने कॉलेज में जाके किसी भी मशीन पे आप whenever you will check the IP address, you will get the address like 192.168.20.30 like this, right? Even if now also if you will check, if your machine is having the IPv4 address, then it will show you some this type of the IP address, या फिर इस range में या फिर इस range में. Okay, now why it is showing? Because these are the private IP addresses. Okay, so the concept was that your organization, or suppose here is a LAN we have, and in this LAN, suppose 4 systems are connected. Okay, and this will be managed by the NAT. This is the NAT server, network address translator server. So this is simply handled by some of, it works under the router. Okay, और simply इसको एक firewall में भी चला सकते हैं, firewall or the router. So whenever your machines are connected to this router, when they are passing some request outside of the network, that will be passed. Suppose this is having 192.168.10.20. Then this machine will have a 192.168.10.21. This will have 10.22. This will have 10.23. These are the 4 machines available connected under the LAN. Okay, so when the request will be transmitted over the network, that time the address will be converted by this NAT, network address translator. Okay, this IP address, this private IP address will be mapped with the public IP address. मान लो कि for this organization the public IP address assigned is considered like I will take 20.45.10.1. Okay, 20.45.10.1. This is my public IP address. So whenever the IP address request will arrive at the NAT, this will be mapped to the public IP address of that organization and the request will be transmitted. Okay. Now, here I will simply write here mapping of private IP address to public IP address. Okay. Now let me tell you one more thing, that whenever now this request will arrive at destination, suppose. Now destination will proceed this request and the reply will be generated. Now this reply will be going with the address 20.45.10.1. This organization, this another server out of this network, ये network से बाहर वाला जो दूसरा network है, now that network will not be aware about the private IP address of that machine who has requested that packet or the information. Okay, that server will simply send the reply with the IP address which is public IP address 20.45.10.1. Fine. So when this reply will arrive at the NAT again, okay, network address translation पे ही आएगा ना फिर से. Now that will be again mapped into the public IP address. This is vice versa. Okay. So फिर से क्या होगा, public to private will be converted and the reply will be received by this device. Fine. Now here again the case is only IP address mapping is not enough in the NAT. Why? Because it may possible, see, whenever any device is sending a request, it has a process through which it is sending a request, right? ये एक डिवाइस है, ये दो डिवाइस है मान लो, और इसमें एक प्रोसेस P1 चल रही है, इसमें एक प्रोसेस P2 चल रही है, इसमें भी मान लो कुछ P1 चल रही है. Fine. And here is we have NAT. Fine. So suppose this machine has sent this device has sent some request with the IP address of 192.168.20.30. Fine. And now it will be transmitting that by converting into the public IP address 10.1, ये जो वाला है. Now consider at the same time, this devices also have some data to transmit. So what will happen? This may be having some another IP address, like इसका एड्रेस क्या था 10.22 और समझो इसका क्या था 10.23. ठीक है, तो ये वाले डिवाइस ने भी क्या किया, अपना रिक्वेस्ट भेज दिया with the process ID P1 itself. Okay, 22 है IP एड्रेस, यहाँ पे 23 है IP एड्रेस, but the process ID are same. प्रोसेस आईडी क्या होता है, पोर्ट नंबर 16 बिट का जो होता है. सपोज पोर्ट नंबर यहाँ पे 1000 सिलेक्ट किया गया, एंड सपोज हियर आल्सो ही हैज सिलेक्टेड द 1000 पोर्ट नंबर, रैंडमली सिलेक्टेड पोर्ट नंबर जो है रैंडमली एलोकेट किया जाता है. ओके, कोइंसिडेंटली बोथ द रिक्वेस्ट आर जनरेटिंग द सेम प्रोसेस आईडी 1000. ओके, नाउ इफ we are only mapping the IP addresses, then what will happen in this case? Now NAT here, what NAT will do, NAT will just convert this private IP address to this public IP address and this request will be transmitted. Again at the same time, this private IP address will be converted into the public address. अब दोनों भी public address same ही जाएगा ना, request will be transmitted to the same, and suppose destination भी same ही है, दोनों ने भी Google को ही भेजा request. Okay, so now this will be proceeded here at the server receiver side and the reply will come back. ठीक है, कुछ reply आया. So whenever now reply will be coming back, NAT will get confused क्योंकि public address तो same था, तो अब मैं ये वाला रिप्लाई किसे भेजूं, ये वाला रिप्लाई किसे भेजूं, पोर्ट नंबर इज सेम, पोर्ट नंबर इज आल्सो सेम एंड द पब्लिक एड्रेस इज आल्सो सेम. What should I do? NAT will get confused, right? So to get over this confusion, we need to map port number also. Are you getting this concept? What I am saying is, if we are not mapping the port numbers, क्योंकि हो सकता है randomly they both are generating the same port number. So here to get over of this confusion, NAT is also mapping the port number. ये 1000 इसने port number भेजा था ना, this 1000 will be converted something like 100. और ये वाला 1000 भी आया ना, तो this 100 will be 1000 will be mapped to 1001. Okay, तो और now this port with this converted port number and with this converted public IP address, the request will be transmitted to the receiver destination. And whenever the reply will be coming back, now reply will be coming with this port number 101 and the 100, right? So by using this port number, now NAT will identify to which IP address or to which private IP address this reply belongs to. And this will be clearly or correctly transmitted to this intended machine or the host machine. This is the working of NAT, Network Address Translation, mapping of private IP addresses to the public IP addresses or mapping of public IP addresses to the private IP addresses as well as the port numbers. Okay, so this is called as network address translation. And when we will switch to, when all the host machines which are connected to the internet, if those all will be switched to the 128-bit IPv6 में अगर map हो जाएंगे, then there will not be the requirement of NAT. But still we are handling the IPv4 addresses. So we need to maintain, we need to organize those. तो उस केस में क्या था, एडवांटेज इसका क्या था बेसिकली, कि सिर्फ एक ही पब्लिक आईपी एड्रेस देके इस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के मैं नंबर ऑफ होस्ट मशीन आई एम एबल टू जॉइन ऑन द नेटवर्क, राइट? तो ये मशीन अगर नेटवर्क से कनेक्ट हो रहा है तब जाके ये पब्लिक में कन्वर्ट होगा, ये मशीन नेटवर्क मांग रहा है तब जाके ये पब्लिक में कन्वर्ट होगा, राइट? सो अगर मैं हर एक मशीन को, if I'm assigning the public IP addresses, then there will be the shortage of IPv4 addresses, isn't it? Also, that organization have to purchase those number of IP addresses, तो वहाँ पे cost भी बढ़ेगा, right? So these are some advantages, but again, there are some, we can say, limitations or the disadvantages also. That network address translation, it is converting, it is mapping those public to private, private to public. So there will be little bit delay will be there to transmit that packet. मतलब बहुत कम ही रहेगा, but there will be delay. Conversion में थोड़ा time तो लगेगा, right? तो वहाँ पे port number conversion भी है, map IP address conversion भी है. So this is the limitation, but advantages are more, and we were managing that time while we are using IPv4 IP addresses by using the NAT. But once we will switch to IPv6 entirely, then there will not be the need of network address translation. But now also, this is very important part or the concept with respect to your examination, your university also, and short note में पूछा जाता है usually, and vivas में भी, and in your gate type of the exams also. Network address translation. Is it clear? Anyone have doubt? Okay. So the next we have is the ARP protocol. We will cover this and then we will stop. Okay. ARP protocol. The full form of this is Address Resolution Protocol. Now, if you remember, while we were discussing about the IP, Internet Protocol, that time I have inform you about the protocols which are available at a network layer. Anyone remember which are the protocols available in the network layer? एक तो important बताया था IP protocol है, right? There are a few supporting protocols are also available, that is ARP. Here I will write this ARP, RARP. Okay. And here we have ICMP, and the IGMP. These are the protocols which are present in the network layer. IP is the very important and the main protocol working behind the network layer. Okay. And ICMP, IGMP, ARP, RARP are the supporting to this IP protocol. Now, what is this ARP, Address Resolution Protocol? Now, whenever here we have transport layer, okay, now it is transmitting to the network layer. Now when at network layer, IP datagram is created, one packet is generated. Now in that packet, the source address and the source IP address and the destination IP address is added. Source and the destination IP address is added to identify that host machine to whom I need to transfer, from whom this message have been generated, to identify that, right? But we are not passing this packet as it is to the destination network layer. Suppose ये destination है यहाँ पे और उसका ये network layer है, तो हम directly यहाँ से यहाँ transmit कर रहे हैं क्या? नहीं ना. We used to transmit this packet to whom? To whom we transmit this? Yes. To which layer we transmit this packet? Yes, Catherine, Soumya Jyoti, Janvi. Which layer is there below the network layer?
Data link.
Exactly. Correct, Prathamesh. So what I was asking, the question is the same. The packet which is created at network layer, that will be transmitted to the data link layer. In data link layer, we convert it into the frames, right? That is the separate part. But transport layer से जो segment आया, that we have converted into the packets by using the IP protocol, and then we will be sending that to the data link layer. From data link layer, it will be transmitted to the physical media, right? We are not directly converting, we are not directly transmitting that packet to the destination network layer. ऐसा हमारा communication नहीं है ना. This is the virtual communication. This is the actual communication. Through this, now this will be to the physical layer, this will be to the data link layer, and this will be to the network layer of destination. This way the data is transmitting, right? So what I was saying, the IP addresses of the source machine and the destination machine are encapsulated or entered into this packet, but we are encapsulating this packet into the frame. जैसे ट्रांसपोर्ट लेयर से जो पेलोड आया, सेगमेंट आया, दैट वी आर इनकैप्सुलेटिंग इनटू द आईपी. यहाँ से जो डेटा आया वो यहाँ पे हम इनकैप्सुलेट कर रहे हैं और इसको हेडर ऐड कर रहे हैं, है ना. तो वैसा ही फ्रेम में भी होता है कि कुछ हेडर ऐड किया जाता है, कुछ ट्रेलर ऐड किया जाता है, एंड द पेलोड व्हिच इज कमिंग फ्रॉम द अबव साइड विल बी इनकैप्सुलेटेड हियर इन बिटवीन, right? So if we are transmitting this packet to the physical layer or to the data link layer, then physical layer, so it will require the physical address also of the destination machine. Sender को अपना physical address तो पता रहेगा, but to whom I need to transmit, that physical address should also maintain, we need to maintain this here, right? But sender is not aware about the physical address. He is not aware about the physical address of the destination machine, but he knows the IP address of that machine. So it will be included at the network layer. But we need to maintain, we need to transmit this packet through the data link layer and the physical media. So we need the physical address also, but we have only IP address. So in that case, to find out that physical address or to map logical address to the physical address, we have a protocol which is called as address resolution protocol. The mapping of logical address to physical address. Okay, this is called as, this is the working of ARP. Fine, mapping of physical to logical to physical address. Now, how it is mapped? What is the concept behind this? So, whenever any machine wants to transmit a data, so the packet has been generated, okay, but it doesn't have the physical address. So, what will happen? It will be sending ARP request packet. ARP के दो पैकेट्स होते हैं, दो टाइप के पैकेट्स. वन इज ARP request and ARP reply. Okay, so whenever your host machine wants to map the logical address to the physical address, it will be broadcasting the ARP request over the network. मान लो ये एक नेटवर्क है इसका जहां पे ये मशीन है, a number of machines are connected here. Here is your device, source device. Okay, so if this packet wants to map, address needs to map, then what will happen? The ARP request message will be broadcasted over the network. Broadcasted matlab the message will be forwarded to each and every connected device in that network, isn't it? So whenever all devices will receive this ARP request packet, the only intended recipient will reply with the ARP reply packet. Okay, ARP request will be transmitted, and in the reply, ARP reply message will be coming. Now, when ARP request message is transmitted, that time that packet will consist of the IP address of the source machine, the IP address of the destination machine, and the physical address of your source machine. क्योंकि physical address of destination machine पता नहीं है ना हमें, that is what we are finding. So these three information will be broadcasted through this ARP request. Okay, so this message will be received by each and every device. So they will check for, they will get to know this is the ARP request message. मतलब ये क्या ढूंढ रहा है, physical address ढूंढ रहा है, whether this belongs to me, this physical, this logical address of the destination belongs to my machine or not. If not, it will ignore. If not, it will ignore. Okay. But suppose this message belongs to this destination machine. So it will check the logical address of its, so it will be matched. It will get to know this is mine. Okay. So what it will do, it will now generate a ARP reply. अब ARP reply में ये क्या क्या रखेगा? IP address of that source machine, IP address of destination machine, physical address of source machine, physical address of destination machine. ये सारे contents will be added into the ARP reply message, and then it will be transmitted to only this machine. Now this is not broadcasted. ये वाला जो है ना ARP request packet, this is broadcasted. Questions पूछे जाते हैं ये. ARP request message is broadcasted over the network, but the ARP reply is one-to-one reply. मतलब सिर्फ जिसने रिक्वेस्ट भेजा था उसी को रिप्लाई जाएगा. This reply is not broadcasted. Okay, so in this way this machine can have the mapping of physical to logical addresses. Okay, now there is a concept of ARP cache memory. Now what is this cache memory? We know the concept of cache, right? But now how ARP is also maintaining. Now what is happening? Whenever we need to transmit, अगर high message भी मुझे किसी को भेजना है, then it consists of a lot of packets, right? 100 or 100 packets, 120 packets, like this. So for each time, if I'm not storing that, मतलब कोई एक communication अगर start किया है, if I have initiated one communication between source and the destination, then there will be a sequence of packets transmitted, right? And if I'm not maintaining that mapping जो मैंने अभी अभी ये procedure से मिलाया है address, if I am not maintaining that, then what will happen? For each packet I need to do this broadcasting. तो उसमें उतना टाइम चला जाएगा. हर एक बार मैं ब्रॉडकास्टिंग करूं, हर एक बार मैं फिजिकल एड्रेस लूं. So what we are doing, if the communication is initiated and if we have sent any request and we have received any reply, then that reply will be maintained into the cache memory, ARP cache memory. So whenever the further transmission will be done, further transmission of packets will be done, that time this physical logical to physical address mapping will be analyzed, will be verified, will be obtained by this ARP cache memory. Okay, cache उसका pronunciation different होता है. So this is about the cache memory. So every time source don't need to map this address again and again. So it will maintain for some time. There will be some time limitations available, whenever it is required, it will be mapped from the cache memory. If it is not available in the cache memory, then again the request message will be broadcasted and the reply will come. Okay, this is called as the ARP, address resolution protocol, where the mapping of logical addresses to the physical addresses, मतलब